Today's video, I would like to share with you a very nice problem of Hungarian Mathematical Olympiad edition 1899, question number 3. Prove the following setup as a capital A equal 2903 to the n minus 803 to the n minus 464 to the n plus 261 to the n is divisible by 1897. In the other word, 1897 divides capital A. Okay, this is very old problem, but it's very nice. Okay, so the hint that I'm trying to give you to this problem, just try to factor out this number on the form of the factorization prime to extract the prime numbers from this one and check these numbers are divisible by this number. Okay, let's go ahead, pause this video if you would like to give it a try to this problem. When you come back to see the full solution. Let's get into the solution. So the thing that I'm trying to start with, 1897 equals 7 is multiplied by 271. Okay, so 7 is a prime, 271 is a prime. Okay, this is a prime number, so you have the factorization prime here, so these numbers must be divisible by this big number. Okay, so I'm going to group these numbers first. I have this number as a capital A, so the first thing that I'm trying to do now, I'm going to group these numbers. I'm going to group these two numbers and group these two numbers. Every two numbers has a minus sign, so I have the minus sign here, the minus sign here, so that means we don't have to worry about the parity because this one is factorable. Okay, so with this one you can write it on this form. If you have like a to the n minus b to the n, you can write it on this form, a minus b factor a plus b. Okay, so in this case are going to ignore the parity of n. If n even or odd doesn't affect our factorization. Okay, it will be factorized anyway. But if you have the plus sign here with n is a even, these terms become non-factorable polynomial. Okay, then we talk about the parity, but in this case we don't have to worry about the parity at all. Okay, 2903 minus 803 equals 2100. 2100 is the same as 7 is multiplied by 300. Okay, so now this one is telling us 7 divided this term 2903 minus 803. Okay, in the other word, implies this term 7 divides 2903 to the n minus 803 to the n. As we said before, this one is factorable because when you factor out these terms, it's giving you 2903 minus 803 factor something. Okay, the first term equals to this value. That means 7 divides this value. Okay, so we are good to go. Okay, this implies this number 2903 to the n minus 803 to the n is a congruent to 0 mod 7. Okay, I'm going to check these two numbers now. So as we said, 261 minus 464 equals 203 equals minus 7 is multiplied by 29. Okay, so that means 7 divides 261 minus 464. Okay, this one is telling us 7 divides 261 to the n minus 464 to the n. Okay, this one implies 261 to the n minus 464 to the n is a congruent to 0 mod 7. Okay, so thus that means 7 divides the sum of these terms. Okay, so I will have 7 divides 2903 to the n, which equals to capital A. Okay, now this is one side. I'm going to check other side. I'm going to prove 271 divides this term as well. Okay, in order to get this one divides this one, but this time I'm going to switch these numbers and group them. Okay, so capital A equals 2903 to the n. Now I'm taking this number minus 464 and group it with this one. I will have minus 464 to the n plus 261 to the n minus 803 to the n. Okay, we have 2903 minus 464 equals 9 is multiplied by 271. Okay, this one implies 271 divides 2903 minus 464. Okay, this one is telling us 271 is divide 2903 to the n minus 464 to the n. Okay, this implies this difference to 2903 to the n minus 464 to the n is a congruent to 0 mod 271. Okay, also this number 261 minus 803 equals minus 542 equals minus 271 is multiplied by 2. Okay, this one is telling us divide this, the difference of these two numbers, which is 261 minus 803. This one is telling us 271 divides 261 to the n minus 803 to the n. Okay, implies 261 to the n minus 803 to the n is a congruent to 0 mod 271. Okay, since 271 divides this one as well as this one. Okay, that's mean 271 divides the sum of these two numbers, which are 2903 to the n minus 464 to the n plus 261 to the n minus 803 to the n, which equal to capital A. Okay, the capital A is a congruent to 0 mod 271. Moreover, GCD of these two numbers 7 and 271 equals to 1. Thus 1897 divides capital A. Okay, so I have done with this problem. If you are interested in watching this one, don't forget to support us with your like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you in next video. Bye.